Alrighty, folks, how y'all doing today? I'm Stately. This is City Skylines. Welcome to the fair town of good intentions, where the order of the day appears to be death care. We're having a bunch of unpicked up corpses around here. It's kind of spread out, but it seems like the nexus is down here and up here. I suspect that anything going wrong here is a result of all of the hearses having to drive out to all of these other locations. So what we're going to do is we're going to put down a new crematorium next to the cemetery here, I think. I'm hoping we don't have to go completely overboard. A few small modifications should do the trick just fine. And let's see, here we have, I guess there's a crematorium there, and we have a cemetery and crematorium here. So maybe we can set up a separate little area off to the side here. Let's make it a nice tree-lined road. Something like this, maybe. There we go. And go ahead and pop down a cemetery on one side. And we'll put a crematorium opposite it. Alright, hopefully that'll add enough capacity that all of this will go away. I do have apparently a bunch of cemeteries that are not currently active that have emptied out. Let's go ahead and turn one back on. Not all of them. Shouldn't be necessary. Now, let's see. Any other disasters requiring my immediate attention? Well, the new crematorium doesn't have water. It's not the end of the world. Okay, now with that out of the way, we'll let things take their course for a little while, and hopefully everything will clear up. But in the meantime, let's get started on our project for today, which is Central Park. Let's see what we can do with this. Before we do anything else, I want the park to be centered around a pond or a lake. So I think we can go ahead and put that in. Maybe something like this. Gotta make sure it's deep enough. But I think that'll do. It's a little bit higher on one side. It's a little bit narrow here. Let's make it just a tad wider. Okay, let's get rid of all of the trees that are going to be underwater. And I think it's just those two. So that's good. The rocks can stay. We're not too worried about the rocks. And now, let's go ahead and do the water thing. Okay, we have a tiny water capacity. And we can lower this a lot. Like all the way down to, say, here. And then we should be good. Took me a while to finally sort out how to do the water features. I kept flooding everything. But I think I've got it sorted. Okay, alright, let's go ahead and zone this. Turn it into an actual honest-to-God park. It doesn't really matter if we catch some roads or anything along the way. Alrighty, park zone defined, and we're going to call this Galaxy Park. Great. Okay, now we have a park. Let's go ahead and start putting stuff down in the park. This the city park? This is the city park. Start with the main entrance, and we'll put that on one of the short ends. Can't quite get it in the middle. Poopy. Maybe there's a bit of terraforming we can do to sort that out. Perhaps not. Let's see if that might accidentally do the trick. No, it's still split. Well, that's okay. We'll just put it here. And then side gates. You can only have one main gate, so everything else has to be a side gate. And we'll put one opposite the little path there, and we'll put one over here, and we'll put one at the back. All right, so that's the basics. We have our park entrance. We have some trails. I think we should connect the trails to each other. Let's go ahead and, well, let's start. We can't really start with the plazas. We have to put the roads down first, so be it. Go straight out from here to about here, and then we'll start freehanding it, I think. Around the water. What do you mean, space already occupied? Don't give me that. I recognize an occupied space when I see one. That last bit has gone wrong. Oops. Sorry, tree. Don't worry, we'll put in new ones. Alright, maybe move this node up a little bit so there's more of a T intersection. I don't want to move stuff too close to the water because it seems to affect the water line. So we'll be conservative and do it like this. I am getting bridge areas where I don't want them. And I'm not sure why, so let's go ahead and try this section again. We've got our toggles, but Road Anarchy doesn't work with park paths for some reason. And, alright, well, if we're doing bridges, let's have it like go over the water? No, not like that. This is irritating. I don't know why these things insist on being bridges. I mean, the drawback is, well, A, you get this weird clipping. But B, it can't be zoned. You can't put any attractions next to it. That's irritating. It's irritating that I can't use any of the Anarchy tools for this. Let's see, can I lower this? Would that help? Maybe. Let's try to flatten things out a little bit and see if we can force these things to not be bridges. A much smaller brush size for this. And try to smooth it out. Hopefully, that'll do the trick. Nope. Well, that's unfortunate, but it seems like it's something we're just going to have to live with for now. Because I don't have any easy solutions. Straight line here, that'll do just fine. And we've already got people recreating. That's good, but let's put in some attractions. And what have we got for starters here? We got the Park Plaza, we got the Park Chessboard, which I rather like. Wouldn't it be nice if we could get a pier in here? Oh, we can. That's like extra cool. We'll have a pier on our little artificial lake. It looks like most of this stuff is unlocked from the last park, so I'm not limited to just the level 1 stuff. That's good. Okay, so for starters, I think what we'll do is we'll put a big plaza here and we'll have the road go around it. So let's go ahead and tear down, say, this section here. And put in a trail here, either side. put down the chessboard right smack dab in the middle. Well, not in the middle, obviously, but in a straight line from the entrance. And then for each side, we'll expand the road to go all the way around. We use the treeless ones here for clutter avoidance. Really? You gonna be like that? Fine, be like that. I think we can probably fix that in post, so to speak. I am, in the meantime, in the red, which is unfortunate. Alright, let's turn all of the snapping off here because it's being irritating. Ah, poop. Come on, roads, play nice. Okay, we'll make this, turn the snapping back on, we'll make this much longer than it needs to be. And then we should have no problem putting this in the right spot. And we need to do the same thing here to make this longer so that we can actually connect to it. There. Now we can delete this, and run a path from here to there. Look at that. How lovely. What a lovely little place to play chess. Alright, and on the other side we can do something similar with the other plaza. So we'll, for now, delete this entire section. Stretch this out to maybe here. Then we'll grab this plaza. Oh, we need a place to put this plaza, don't we? And I'm just going to set these roads up to be too long right from the outset. Pop this down there. And we'll use roads without trees around the sides. Just trying to snap to things I don't want to snap to. Beautiful. Just fine and dandy. Now we can get rid of the redundant bits. Connect this to this and I think raise this corner just a little. It's not a serious issue, but it's always nice to keep your levels level. Like that. This side looks good. This side looks okay. Raise this just a tad. And raise the section in the center to match. And there we go. Oh, almost. There we go. Alright, that's the core of our park, and people are already using it, but we're very clearly not done yet. So we have a park pier that would be fun to put down somewhere, maybe here. Oh yeah, I like that. It's pretty high. Let's see if we can lower it a little bit. That seems a little more sensible to me, and then we'll just run a little path up to it. Cheap and cheerful. No? No snapping. Come on, play nice. Okay, plan B would be we'll move the road. We can just pull it all down a little bit closer. That still looks pretty good, and we've accomplished what we were trying to accomplish. So I'm in favor of it. What else have we got? Let's look at the big stuff first. I already have one of those. Definitely want a park cafe, right? And here, nice view of the water. That's good. Got some restrooms. We got an info booth. And a bunch of gazebos. All right, so fine. We'll put the info booth by the entrance, by the main entrance right here. And we'll put restrooms on either side. Do we want to... Let's put the restrooms like off to the side a little bit. Oh, there goes the blimp. Need to check in on the blimps, by the way, make sure they're not overcrowded. I think they're pretty full, frankly. I think we'll put the restrooms off to the side a little bit. We'll have a little trail going off here and like that. We'll do the same thing over here. Just have it run out like a corner. There we go. And yes, these are the restrooms. One here. One here, right by the bus station. That's good. People waiting for the bus. Speaking of which, there are hundreds of people waiting for the bus here. That's not ideal. All right, now we can do some infill, put a couple of other attractive little things down. For one, we can have a gazebo off to the side here. I like gazebos. Gazebos are fun. What are you talking about? Stop it. Stop being infuriating. There. Which gazebo shall we use? Let's use this one, because it's nice. It's a little bothersome that you can't have it just like facing the end of the road, but I might be able to manually do this. I kind of want to just partially overlapping the end of the road here. Like that. That looks pretty good, right? So this is coming along. We need some other cool stuff to do in the park, though. I think we should have maybe a little kind of nature trail here. So let's grab the regular park path and we'll run one freehand from right about the middle of this out here along the subway back to there, kinda. Move this around a little bit. And we'll put some exotic trees here. Do I have like... I don't have any cacti. That's too bad. It would have been nice to have a themed area there. But let's go ahead and do this manually. Have some larger trees and we'll have a fair amount of small bushes around. Not really cooperating, is it? It's pretty easy to hit the manual ground clutter limit and then you suddenly start having to do this stuff by yourself. And let's get some ground coverage. It's kind of bushy, but maybe we'll do one of those and then do some slightly flatter stuff. That's not much flatter, is it? It's definitely not much smaller. I know there are smaller ones down towards the end here. We'll use those. So that's a little place you can go to commune with nature. Except for the fact that it's right by the subway, but, you know, other than that, it's great. we still have a lot of room here and not really anything doing with it. So maybe like some sports facilities. Should we have a tennis field? These things won't place, will they? I mean, I could put it off the road, but that obviously wouldn't help much. Tennis, that's too bad. That would have been nice. Oh, you know what? I forgot to connect to my side entrances here. Shouldn't be too hard. We just plop down a nice straight line there, and this one is already connected. More by accident than anything else, I think. Alright, let's plop down some vegetation around the water side, particularly where it's steep over here. And maybe some bigger ones to fill it out. Is it okay for these things to be like on the water level? I guess it is. That doesn't look too bad. Let's see what we have in the way of flowering trees here. These are, I keep doing that, a little too pink to go overboard with, but we could slap some down around the gazebo. Like that. And then maybe we'll pop down gravel around the gazebo. Yeah, that looks pretty good. No park is complete without a playground, and I think this right here would be a perfectly good place for a playground. So again, we'll set up some gravel and grab all of the playground stuff that we want. Of course, the slide is the centerpiece. Grab some swing sets off to the side here. Okay, when I look for playground, I get a bunch of stuff that's not very playground related, unfortunately. So let's look at the standard park props here. We should be able to get some decent stuff in. Did I just place like 8 of them there? Let's find out. Nope, I just got the audio effect 8 times. A couple of those. These things were always disappointing as a kid, weren't they? Like so. What else? Is that kind of the sum of the playground stuff we have to work with? We have some sandboxes. I guess we can have a sandbox too. Alright, well, as playgrounds go, I think it'll do. Put some benches around it so the parents can watch benevolently. This looks like a nice park bench. We'll just kind of spread these out around the edges. Or how many people are just getting in without paying their dues? Nobody seems to be ignoring the lack of fencing, so that's nice, right? Okay, so we have some flower beds that we could use. For example, these guys. And you kind of don't want to go overboard with these because they can clutter the place up pretty badly, but for example, we could put some next to the cafe here on either side. That, I don't know, I think this is a pretty good start. We should go ahead and start naturing it up a little bit. And I'm going to do a lot of this manually because it just It's kind of hard to get this stuff to place properly in prop mode, but we can, let's give it a try, see what happens. See, we're just getting the occasional tree this way. And we can eventually fill it up, but you know, it's not great. It is working though, so we'll stick with it. Okay, I feel like, well, first of all, I feel like the road here is too high. Let's lower it down a little bit. I like the idea of having a bit of road that goes over the water, but we don't need to go overboard. So something like that. And then maybe we can have a small grove of redwoods. In this area here. Majestic, aren't they? Oh, hooray. Humanity against chirps. There will come a time that I'm going to have to disable that. But for now, I'm still kind of enjoying it. Can we have some bushes, or is it just out of the question? 2. Wow, generous. Just doesn't want to happen. All right. Well, we'll do it manually. Some vegetation around the base again. Not vegetation, vegetation. What do you think? Neat little park, right? Spread out a little more of this vegetation. And obviously, we don't want to stick with only the one type. So we'll switch it off a little bit here and there. Cute little park, right? Nice place to rest in the center of town. So now we got to fence it up. That should be easy enough. We even have snaps. I got to look at my public transport. This is bad. Maybe we would do well to have a tram a tram line running up and down the main drag here. One thing at a time, though. It's easy to get distracted when you're looking at 20 things at once, isn't it? Anarchy me. Look, why are you going to have a snap there if I can't snap anything to it? Why you gotta be like that? There we go. And as this thing levels up, we'll look at some of the new stuff we get and see if anything is appropriate to put in there. I'm just glad we were able to squeeze in a pier. I think that looks really attractive. Oh, shoot. Okay, we're just going to have to move this in a little bit because it's intersecting with the subway tracks, or specifically with the supports. So we'll just run it as close as we can get. Actually, that works. So we'll just stick with that. And I did it again. Oops, I did it again. All right, there we go. couple little things, like this tree in the middle of the path, and this boulder in the middle of the path. Maybe a couple more rocks, actually, would make this place a little more interesting. What else have we got? There's a lot of very similar looking rocks, huh? It's hard to tell which ones are huge and which ones aren't. I'd like a big one. Well, it's not that big. Alright, I think this will do for now. Let's take a look at the settings. We are making a lot of money on it. That's good. I think maybe we'll lower the price to say $10. We are still operating at a loss right now. Fortunately, I have $9 million in the bank, so I don't think we'll have too much trouble turning that into a profit. Now, this area here, this entire road is kind of sort of Main Street, I guess. Except here I haven't put anything down because it's closer to the residential area, but this section here, we can absolutely fill this in. And I think what we should do is take this entire area and turn it high density. These people are going to be unhappy. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I accidentally dezoned the entire thing. Let's rezone it real quick before they realize and move out. And we'll just manually dezone that section there. And bulldoze it. Okay. Now, some hedges to separate this. Yeah, let's just go straight for the fencing tool and grab the hedge there because I have a lot of little individual hedges, and for stuff like this I always use the network hedges because they're a lot more sensible. So this area don't really have any designated purpose for yet. It might end up being residential. We shall see. But the idea is to just give all of these residential areas a little bit of privacy. Very mild turn in here, like that. And we don't have to go any farther than this. Same thing over here. It can be straight. And then down here, we'll just do this. Come on, play nice. Stop trying to snap to that. I don't want you to snap to that. Good. Now, some infill. We have some room here. I think we should see what we can do about just adding a little more residential here. Let's turn the snapping back on though. Go down to, say, here, over to here, and on this side. Well, we can do this and then just put residential zoning on one side. Like so. Oh, I forgot the new rule. No more 4x4 houses. Let's trim this down to 3x3. In case you missed it, the reason I no longer do 4x4 residential low density is because the houses look unnaturally large. I find them very unattractive. It just doesn't fit in. So I try to avoid them now. And we're going to green this little strip up a little bit. We'll have a little buffer between the residential areas and the commercial zones. Just a bit of this and a bit of that. There we go. That, it looks kind of hokey, doesn't it? Maybe we need to put down some vegetation on the ground. Just grab whatever. Grab some different whatever, and that looks a little more credible now. Okay, all right, that's progress. Our new commercial area is filling in just fine. That's going to work out lovely. Our park seems to be doing well. That's all great. Let's check in on our death wave. Are there still any issues? Everything is running like a well-oiled machine. Lovely. So, traffic. This intersection is working fine. This one isn't. Primarily not because there's too much traffic for the roundabout or anything, but there are definitely problems getting on and off the freeway here. And I'm thinking maybe we'll try to turn this into a Trumpet Interchange and see how that works. I've never actually done one before, so this will be a learning experience for all of us. Possibly a regrettable experience, but a learning experience nonetheless. Okay, so Trumpet Interchange. We have 4 lanes coming into the roundabout is the plan. So let's go ahead and grab a 4-lane road with a separator just to give us a little extra width. And we'll go down to here. And then we switch this to a 2-lane that will go up and over. This is, hold on a sec. This is a bit of a problem because the road section is much higher here. So let's lower it across here to where it's about the same level as the road we're coming up on, and smooth it out a little bit. Get rid of the bizarre bumps. Okay, looks like we're about back on track there. Let me just have a little bump here. Okay. Okay, now it's flatter and easier to deal with. Let's get back to the road. The road will go here and up. I think that should be enough. It would appear that it is not enough. Still a pretty steep slope here. Let's compensate by raising this some as well. It's going to be a scary highway intersection, I can tell you that much. Can I just have a road, please? Thank you. Yikes. Uh-huh. That's yikes. This won't go any higher. Oh, it will. It just doesn't like it. I can kind of see why. This is turning into a bit of a mess. We need to do some leveling here. Brush size needs to be bigger than that. Brush strength needs to be much weaker than that. And then we'll go like this. Okay. That's better. And that looks to be more or less horizontal. It doesn't have to be perfect, obviously. We just want it to be credible. Now we go around the corner on a pretty tight curve, something like this. Now, I think we'll use off-ramps. So we'll start here to here and down, obviously, way down. No, 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 not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to move this stuff out so I have more room. Yeah, that's a fantastic looking Trumpet Interchange right there. Look at that, beautiful. You ever seen a nicer Trumpet Interchange than that? I'll bet you haven't. Yeah, no, it's not very good. It's really not very good. This is a mess. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. Why am I putting down bushes? I don't want to be putting down bushes. I want to be straightening things out. So the biggest issue here is that I'm not quite sure how to run this connector. But let's just take another stab at it. Go out, around some more, and then down. All right, anarchy. Oh, yeah, that's a nice little slope there. However, that's not an issue because we're going to lower these things pretty significantly. Not that one, this one. The one I clicked on. Not rocket science, people. And that's pretty good. The height there is fine. So now we should be able to... Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. And that's one way. That's not what we're looking for. Looking for a standard two-lane road. Just this, I guess. Now the question becomes, can we connect properly to it? I mean, yes, we can. It looks, well, let's just say it doesn't look too great. But something like this. Looks like it could work. Need to make sure there are no left turns there. But that's straightforward enough. And then we have off-ramps on this side. Should be much, much easier. Hopefully. Hello? This thing doesn't unselect itself when you select something else. That's kind of irksome. Well, we've created a bit of a monster. But let's see how the monster works. It's not completely ridiculous, and it looks like hopefully we can, if we can convince the traffic to behave, this should work just fine. Okay, let's convince the traffic to behave then. For starters, here, you must go right. There are no other issues here. That's literally the only place where there's an option. But the bigger issue is here. This guy is going to be a little challenging, but it shouldn't be too bad. Let's see. We have 3 nodes here. That's odd. You here. You here. You here. And you have to turn right. Actually seems to work pretty well. I'm not sure why traffic is slowing down here. That slope is a little ridiculous. But that's okay, we can fix that. That's the sound of the blimp. Why are these guys stopping? There's literally no legitimate reason to stop there. Oh, there's a stoplight there. Okay, there is a legitimate reason to stop there. No stoplight here. There's absolutely no reason to have one. Okay, now we got some problems with people being able to get off the freeway, and it seems to be because they're getting backed up here. It seems like the roundabout has much heavier traffic now. Let's set up some traffic rules here to hopefully mitigate some of that. You have to go here. You can go here or here. And that looks much better. I mean, this is not the prettiest interchange ever made, especially where the roads merge here. It kind of looks, what's the word, hideous. And they're still getting backed up on the roundabout. So I think I've moved too much traffic onto the roundabout now. I'm not quite sure why I'm getting more traffic on the roundabout, because that was not an issue before. But as you can see, it is getting jammed up. One thing we can do is allow this intersection to be blocked. Is that this? No, that's not vehicle restrictions, it's this one. Nope, that's right away. Which one allows you to set the junction restrictions? Is that it? Yeah. Okay, so you're allowed to block the intersections because there's no options here. Everybody's going the same way. So they might as well just keep going. They're already not allowed to change lanes on the intersection, so that's fine. So, yeah, this is pretty good. We can move some traffic out of the way here to make sure that traffic coming in doesn't have to wait for the through traffic. We'll just do this. And there's not enough traffic for that to be an issue. So that'll clear out this lane here, and all of the vehicles coming out here will be able to go there. And then here, these guys, you have to go here. You want to change lanes, you can do it later on. That's no big deal. And look at that. Look how smooth this is. We'll do the same thing over here. We'll force all of the traffic out of this rightmost lane so that the merging lane doesn't get blocked. And we'll do that. Why am I not highlighting junctions here? Show me a junction. Maybe I need to actually select something first, being that, you know, genius and all that. Ah, it's under the bridge. This is always a pain in the ass because these things are not where you think they are. But that should do the trick. Well, look at that. I think we've actually managed to substantially solve our traffic issue here. And we've made a kind of a unique looking trumpet roundabout here, but it does work. So not a completely wasted day. We made a nice park, which still needs some decor around the water side. It's kind of bland still. So maybe some small trees would be appropriate. Whoa. Individually placed small trees. I said individually placed small trees. And some more vegetation. Starting to rely pretty heavily on this stuff, aren't I? Like that. That looks better already. Should we have some of these down by the water side? Might not be entirely appropriate, but it does seem to fit well. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with more exciting tales from the fair town of Good Intentions. But until then, see you all next time. Peace.